and you are meeting down at the tables in the bustling tavern to figure out what to do next. I'll leave it to you guys.
Yeah, well, I really think that these red brands are more trouble than they're worth. Well, actually, no. I think that since we're in Phandelver, the Pre would really like take care of them before leaving Phandelver.
Well, I had said my piece, and this is Rin talking. I said my piece, and I had left to go on an errand. So, and just so you know, I wanted to actually purchase a short sword and trade in my club.
Was that your errand?
Yeah, that was the errand I did, and I decided that I probably need a real weapon, which I used to use when I was a little bit younger and was trained with and so forth. So it's something I'm comfortable with. Even though we don't use metal for our armor, it's okay for our weapons. So I did that. I went to sleep. I woke up, and I assume we're in the bottom floor of the inn right now.
Yep, you guys are in the bottom floor of the tavern, hanging. You're just coming downstairs. You're just waking up. Getting into it.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I said my piece about the nature of the goblins and the orc menace that's outside the city earlier, and I'm not gonna say anything about that at this point. I want to hear what everybody else has to say.
And of course, Favorion, he's seen a lot of gangs and pirates and things in his travels, and he feels that it would be kind of hard for a group such as so small as us to actually take down a gang without another gang coming back in and taking over while we left. So.
Yeah, I'm also going to add that we don't really know the politics of this place yet. We should probably understand that, and we know for sure that Gundren's life is in danger. Maybe Sildar and Gundren are already dead, but we should actually find out, what had happened to them, so that if they are still alive, maybe we could rescue them.
We have been given the authority to deal with the red brands by the council of Phandelver. We haven't discussed the details as to rewards for ridding Phandelver of the red brands, but we are allowed to do so, and I also did not discuss backing up by Phandelver's militia, if there is any, to help with the red brands. But if the majority of the group thinks we should go after Gundren right away, then I will follow the group, obviously.
We could always take a vote.
Alright.
Well, I'll start it off. I vote for Gundren and Sildar.
I also vote for Gundren and Sildar.
I really just vote for whatever gets me a fight.
I promised you'll have the first head to smash.
Then that would, I also vote for Gundren and Sildar.
So as you guys are sitting around the table and you're discussing this, right at that moment as the sun is coming up, a little halfling woman comes bursting into the tavern, and she says, "Oh, please help me! My son's been kidnapped! My son Carp, he's been kidnapped by a bunch of goblins! I don't know where they took him! Please help!"
When did this happen? I'm gonna stand up and head to her.
Just this morning, as I woke up, I went into his room, and I was like, "Carp! Carp, where are you? And he wasn't there, and I started looking, and I looked out the window, and I saw a bunch of goblins dragging him up the road, up the Tribor Trail to the north towards the Cragmaw hideout, and I don't know where they went, but they went up north. Please help him.
Isn't Carp the one?
Server connection failed. The remote host closed the connection.
My server went down. Hang on, it'll be right back.
Isn't
That happens all the time. My server cuts out and cuts back in.
Isn't Carp the one we heard about that found a secret tunnel in the woods guarded by red brands?
That's true.
I think he is.
Because I heard some people talking about that yesterday while we were sitting in this very tavern.
And I could never get a name that sounded like, well, a fish.
Yes, he found that tunnel, and now, after finding a tunnel guarded by the red brands, he disappears.
Interesting that he was taken away by the goblins. Maybe
not my
the
plan.
red brands
My
and the
plan was
goblins
to
have
go the
more
other
in
way.
common than we suspect.
Maybe so.
That'd be a power
But,
association.
The group has voted for Gundren, so... lady, will you please take us to the place where you last seen your son? I will go and see what I can find out.
Stop. Absolutely, yes, right this way. So she hurries out the door, and she takes you with her, Dupree, as you go following this older halfling woman.
As we're walking, I ask her, is your name Alderleaf?
Why, yes it is. My name is Quellin Elderleaf.
Yes, I've heard of you. Your husband was taken, was he not?
Oh, yes. Yes, my husband and my other son, they were both taken. But Carp
and
is my last son. I need him to come back to me.
Well, I will do everything in my power to bring him back to you. But know that we have not forgotten, or I have not forgotten about what happened to your husband. I hear tell that he was taken, and after our little travel, our little journey, me and my friends will come back and attempt to deal with the red brands who are causing so much trouble.
Oh, thank you. Is anybody else going with him? Is anyone else following?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah. I
follow.
finished my ale real quick, and I
Of course,
ran out to
Roxy,
follow.
you're being a maniac right now, and I have like 50 things going on. You have to be a maniac. Oh God. Okay, so you all following. You're following after them, like following behind them. You get to the scene of the crime where everything went down, and you definitely see what looks like two small footprints. Actually, does anybody have? Let's take a look at your character sheets here. Not his, because he's not with you.
I am proficient at survival. This is what I think you're looking for.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly
so
what
am
want.
I.
Give me a survival check. Okay. So you're negative. Your 5 doesn't quite do it. But Rin, you notice that the footprints on the ground are certainly humanoid of nature, small, short footprints back and forth. And then you notice that there's definitely the sign of like 2 of them walking side by side while dragging off a third body in the middle. Like definitely the signs of someone being dragged off. Pardon, my dog is going bananas. Stop. Of course she's going bananas, right? I have like 50 windows open and everything is going on. She's been sleeping all day, but now is the time where she decides that it's time to play and hump my leg. So anyway, fine.
That dog is confused.
She's amazing. So anyway, so you definitely find some tracks that are leading off from the Alderleaf estate. That looks like someone has been dragged off to the north. She leads. She says, would you like to come inside? And come inside and check his room. I've looked for clues, but I really can't find anything.
If he was taken.
So she leads you into the house, and she leads you up to his room. And while you're poking around, you definitely see there's signs of a struggle. There have been signs that something didn't go quite right in here, and that the boy definitely tussled with his captors. There is no blood splatter anywhere. There's no blood spills, no stains. So he wasn't stabbed. He was definitely taken. But you can't be sure how. There is definitely there's a window that is opened and has been opened in his room that leads out to directly where the trail is. So he was clearly, ransacked through the window and taken out down the road.
Curious, sir, and curious, sir.
These goblins, have you ever seen them do something like this before? Seems very bold.
She says the goblins are not usually this aggressive. This is a uniquely aggressive move for the goblins. We don't really see many. We have a lot of problems with orcs attacking our supplies that are coming in and out of the city, but we don't have this many problems with orcs. This is kind of rare and unique. I'm not really sure where they came from or why these goblins came, but I saw them. I saw them carrying him off, and that's when I immediately ran to the tavern because I figured we don't really have any help or militia or armed forces here in Phandelver. We're a new town, just kind of starting up, you see, and we don't really have that kind of muscle to stop these people. So I figured the best place for me to find any help would be at the tavern, and so I ran to the tavern, and here you all are.
You did good to run to the tavern, and you were lucky to run into us. We were heading north after the goblins.
Yes. So, you promise you're going to try to save my son? He's the last son I have left. My family keeps dying. I've had terrible luck, you see. Just my husband, and he stood up to the Redlands, and then they kidnapped him, and then they kidnapped my other son, and then now my third son, and my second son, who's just looking around like crazy, said he found a hideout, and then now he disappears.
If he's still alive, we'll bring him back.
Fantastic.
Sad business, my lady. I myself know what it is to deal with loss of family. I will do my best to bring him back.
Thank you so much.
We'll find your fish.
He's not a fish.
Oh, right. Carp. Trout. Whatever his name was.
Carp. His name is Carp.
He's
not a fish.
Trout?
He's not a trout. Young man, you water-born Gens, I don't think I don't know your type. I'm a halfling, but I've seen many types around here. You take your watery ways and help me find my son. And that's all the more reason you should want to find my son, because if my son was named after a fish, he's after your people, and your people should help find my son.
I'm very sorry, man. I was just very enamored with his name. We'll look for him. I'm sure we'll find him.
I grab him by the shoulder and walk him out before he puts his foot in his mouth any further.
I thank you for doing that, as you're walking out.
So she turns and she shows you the door, and she just kind of goes pondering about her kitchen, doing what halflings do best when they're worried. She starts cooking. So off she goes to start cooking up some great brew and some wonderful food.
Are we ready to go? If we come back before nightfall, this woman might feed us all.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah.
I was personally ready. I have all my belongings with me.
Likewise.
All right.
Yep, same here.
All right. So we leave Phandelver to the north.
Mm-hmm. So you head out back along the Tribord Trail, and you go back down the road of which that you led to the trail that brought you in here. And
yeah, I'm gonna point out the traps that I had noticed on the way in, so that nobody falls in or gets
sure.
yeah, snared.
Yep. So as you're traveling back, and we gotta change our tunes up here a bit.